Trying to walk with that cup. He scored! And
Welcome to Penn's Weekly Update with Scott and Ken, presented by Pittsburgh's DSEN. My name is Ken Craig. I'm a credentialed reporter with Pittsburgh's DSEN, and I cover the Pittsburgh Penguins, and I am joined with our resident journalist, Scott Crowell. He also writes for the Pittsburgh Penguins, and we are here to talk about all things Pittsburgh Penguins. We have taken a little hiatus, a few weeks off, but we're back. We're back, Scott. We are back, and we're going to talk about a few things today. We're going to talk about the upcoming NHL Draft, the 2026 draft. It's going to be tomorrow is going to be the first round. We're recording this on Thursday at about 3 o'clock. So in case any trades drop while we are live, that way you know what time we're recording this, and Saturday obviously is going to be the 2nd through 7th round. But we're also going to talk about the Pittsburgh Penguins trade that they just executed today, as well as kind of some market expectations, what to expect, and then talk about the world of mock drafts, right? Who's choosing what, who's choosing who, and what do we expect as well to happen tomorrow night in the first round of the NHL Draft. So before we kick everything off, just really quick, our show is brought to you by Pittsburgh's DSEN. We are a 24/7 radio station that includes Pittsburgh sports talk and lifestyle programming. Check out the lineup, pghdsen.com. And if you're interested in receiving real-time updates on player interviews, coaching press conferences, locker room interviews, all those things, go ahead and subscribe to Pittsburgh's DSEN YouTube. Join the other 70K subscribers that we have there. We produce and send out everything through there. And last, if you cannot watch, and if you're like me and you listen to podcasts all day long, our show is on multiple platforms. So catch us wherever you listen to your podcasts. Just look up Penn's Weekly Update, and you'll be able to find us. So, Scott, let's get back to, I guess, let's start talking about the Pittsburgh Penguins draft and trade and offseason and everything. It's been a crazy offseason so far. There's been some big names that are moving. There's some realtors that are going to be happy. But what do you think? What's going on with the Penguins? They've been quiet so far this offseason, and then today they executed a trade for a bottom six player. But what do you think's happening? What do you think's going on? And actually, what's going on with you?
So there's it's been quiet, honestly. I'm not surprised on the Kyle Dubas front. I think, there's a lot of expectations that were set during his presser in the right as the season ended there, and he kind of said he wants to go big game hunting, as we noted, and he wants to go grab some big names and make this team better, that like impact players. So I think that set the bar too high for some people, and I think that's where his quietness so far this offseason, I think, has kind of upset a little people, especially with how, like you said, how big the trade market is right now, with guys like Brady Tkachuk and all those guys getting moved, and lots of big deals out there. Bo Byram for the 4th overall pick. There's so much going on out there that like people want to see the Penguins get into, and it's like there's too much going on. And obviously they acquired Hendrix Lapierre today from the Caps for a 3rd next year and a 5th in 28, which was part of the Vincent Desharnais trade. But I think there's a lot going on. Obviously, we're 24 hours from the draft. There's, the market is sizzling right now, sizzling hot, and there's things to be had, deals to be made. And will the Penguins be on that? Maybe not. As of right now, I'm going to say no. I think the only deal you may make them see is move up in the draft. Obviously, there's been rumors flying around that they want to move up. It's been very well known that they want to move into the top 10, if not the top 5, to acquire an impact now player that Kyle Dubas believes will change this team for not just the now but the long run of this franchise. So I'm
Do
curious
you
to see Ken just fire away.
yeah, just on that note really fast, do you think that this draft is deep enough
Yeah, for sure. I
to
think I think in sense of the top 15, there's top 15 players that can change a team, especially within the top five. Like there's so many guys that could be first overall that are like five, six, seventh ranked. Like that's how deep this first round is. And so, at a sense, at 22, they could get a player that may still be a year or two away. But if they move up, I think look at a guy that's ready now, like a Ben Kindle. So again, there's that enticement. Okay, what will it take to move up? Obviously, there's a player there they're high on Viggo Bjork. That's a big name that's available. So again, if they were to move up, I would expect they'd try to pry him and get him on this team, which would be huge. He could slot right into the 2C hole, and he could really make an impact on this team. He is that good. Obviously, they're not going to move into like the 1 or 2 spot. Now, obviously, San Jose is trying to move the 2
no?
spot, so I don't think that's realistic. But again, there's into the top 5, top 10, there's real possibilities. Seattle's trying to move their 7th. San Jose's trying to move that 9th pick again that they recently acquired for Eklund. There's a couple teams that might want to move. Buffalo's probably going to want to move that number 4 pick. Number 4 is available. If you want to go get that player, you go get that number 4 pick and do what you need to do. Obviously, speaking in terms of assets, I just want to, I guess let's touch on this now. Obviously, Brian Rust, Rickard Rakell, they're in their early to mid stage 30s. I think people are overvaluing them quite a bit, Ken. I think obviously, yes, they're consistent playoff vets. Russ has won 2 cups. Raquel has been there, done that, or been close to it, and almost done it. And he's a veteran in this league and knows what it takes. But at the same time, I think fans are overvaluing, their potential, and I think age kind of holds them back from them being moved. And I think that's a problem, just because I think expectations are so high that them not doing anything is not surprising, just because do you want to see Pittsburgh overpay when Kyle Dubas clearly said he doesn't want to overpay for any players? With the market being obviously the cap going up, people are going to spend more money, players are going to ask for more money more consistently. Like obviously, Tuck is now a $10 million player, where before you wouldn't even think Alex Tuck is a $10 million player. So you got to look at it realistically and think, okay, what are these guys valued at, and how much will it take to bring these guys to Pittsburgh? And obviously, there's the enticement, get new ownership. Obviously, there's coach behind the bench could be a very big factor. So there's so many things that go into it, Ken.
There is, and prior to the offseason kicking off, Kyle Dubas at his press conference had mentioned kind of what he was looking to do, and especially targeting those who may have some control in their situation, who may need a fresh start. When it comes to Brian Rust and Rickard Rakell, both 34 and 33 respectively, like you said, I think as Penguin fans, we tend to overvalue our assets, right? And I think
Big
that
time.
I think that both being at $5 million for another year or another 2 years, we could see we definitely could see them moved. Their names are consistently thrown around when it comes to this time of the year, or even at the trade deadline. Those are the names that are typically thrown around. I think realistically, are we going to see, multi first round pick return for those type of players? No, we're not,
for sure.
May they be part of a package? Potentially, yeah. But, I've really tempered my expectations. This market right now, I think, is really rich.
Mhm.
There's, I don't know. I know Kyle Dubas is not going to overpay. He's not going to put himself in a situation where he overpays and signs a long-term deal that makes this team stuck to someone, just to acquire a player. So I do trust the front office in that aspect. I know if they're going to move on from someone like Brian Rust or Ricky Rax, I know it's going to be for the right price. I do know that. I don't think
For sure.
they're just going to be moved to move them. We need to get better. Um, so if they're being moved, it's going to be to get better. I do think someone like Tommy Novak, someone along those lines, I could see him moved.
Yeah.
To for a package to move up or something like that. So I think there's room to be creative with this group, but I know for sure that Kyle Dubas is going to do everything in his power to make sure that we improve this offseason. But I just worry that this market is so rich that it may make a GM hesitant, right, to play in that pool of talent, right? I mean, it's just multiple first and 3 first being thrown out for play. I mean, that's just too rich for where we're at as the Penguins organization.
Like when comparison Ken to 3 firsts being thrown out like Florida's been doing when they threw out for Kachuk, there's so many levels of difference of where the Penguins are at, where they're trying to still build a younger team around their veterans, where Florida's comparison is they're going for it. They're all in. Like they have a core that's ready to win. So again, there's so many comparisons of like you can't just throw 3 firsts out like it's nothing. If you're not in a position to go all in, you don't throw that type of assets into a trade like that. Obviously for them it makes sense, but for Pittsburgh it doesn't. So I think people need to realize that they're not in a spot where a Florida is or a Vegas or a Minnesota, like where they're like, okay, well we could just spend as much as we want because people want to come play for us. Where it's like, yeah, Pittsburgh's not on that list of teams because they're not in that spot. So I think,
and we're also not one piece away from
exactly.
getting
Well, that's
a cup or something like that, right?
That's just it. I think obviously them making the playoffs last year might entice maybe some players to come play because there's the expectation they want to get back there. But again, they're not in a spot where some people believe they should be, or they should be to spend those assets. So I'd like to say, for the record, that please tamper your expectations. Do not make mock trades for people that are unrealistic. I've seen so many names thrown out there. People want to go after like Elias Pettersson, Pavel Dorofeev, Jason Robertson. Like those guys are too rich. They cost too much. Kyle Dubas doesn't want to spend that much. He's clearly scared to go get a guy like that, and it just doesn't make sense if teams are willing to throw more than that.
Yeah, I would I don't want to say he's too scared. I don't like that language. I think that based on what people are paying right now or what teams are paying right now, it may be like you said, he may back out of something like that because of the richness of the deal. I think if you see a player of like Jason Robertson, if we see someone like him, I could see the Pens paying premium to get him.
Premium, yeah, sure.
Yeah, but I don't think that overpay like we're seeing right now. I think the market just, man, like
it's too
those
hot.
first few
Let it
moves.
slow down.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think
exactly.
on draft day,
Those first few moves just.
On draft day is where the value will go down quite a bit, and I think that's where teams will start to swoop in and kind of get guys for less cost. I think that's the best time to strike. And if Kyle Dubas is going to strike, he likes to strike on draft day. So I think if anything, tomorrow's the day you might see him do something actually noticeable. Obviously today it was a small little AHL / bottom 6 move, up and down the lineup. It's not bad, low risk, high reward, like I said.
And let's talk about that. Go ahead. And let's talk about it just really fast. So the Pittsburgh Penguins did make a move today in acquiring Hendrix Lapierre from the Capitals for some draft picks per se. Hendrix Lapierre, 24 years old, center, left wing type player, 6 foot, 185 pounds, former first round draft pick. The funny thing is, when I saw this, he was a former first at the 22nd overall pick.
Yeah.
Right.
I didn't know.
I was like,
well.
oh, okay. But he was chosen in 2020. And last year, 74 games, 4 goals, 16 points overall. nothing that's going to blow you away, but like you said, a bottom six player who may spend some time, with Wilkes or whoever our AHL affiliate will be. And but we gave up a 2027 round 3 pick and a 2028 round 5 pick, so nothing worth writing
like
home
moving the needle.
about. Nope.
No.
The Pens still have roughly 37.8 in current cap space, or projected cap space, I should say. So that's where we're at right now. No big moves for the Penguins. I don't even want to spend too much time on that one.
Yeah. Up to note though, I did find this interesting before we move on. I did find that Hendrix Lapierre has some familiar chemistry with Todd Nelson. They did win back-to-back Calder Cups with Hershey in 22, 23, and 23, 24. Lapierre also won AHL MVP in 23, 24 with Hershey. So he's gone all the way in the pros before. Just a note of that, has familiarity with Todd Nelson in his time with Hershey as head coach.
Man, good call out there. That's a really good point, and that familiarity would be probably why they pulled the trigger here, right? I mean,
Yeah, well,
someone
that's just it, yeah.
that Nelson has coached before, and someone that was really successful under that system. Good call out there. That's excellent.
Yeah, for sure.
So talking about this year's draft, I know just for anyone who doesn't know, and if you're listening to us, you probably do know this. So I apologize if I'm giving you some elementary information here, but 5 draft picks we have going into this year. Not very much unlike last year where we had, what was it, like 13 picks last year. But this year, only 5. We have our first round pick, 22nd overall. We have our second round pick at 39, which was from Winnipeg. Correct me if I'm wrong there.
For the Luke Shen trade.
Yep. And then our original second round pick, which is going to be 54 overall. Third round pick, 86 overall. And then we get some time off, waiting around until the 6th round at 170, which was Nashville's original pick. So yeah, let's jump into it. What do you think about our chances to pick at 22? Like what is our odds to pick there?
Oh, I don't even know how to evaluate the odds. I'm going to say it's 50-50 in my opinion. In terms of where I believe 24 hours ahead of the first round and where they are. I'm going to say it's 50-50. They pick 22. If they are to stand pat at 22, I think the market to move up was just too high for Kyle Dubas' liking, and he just will settle for 22, or he'll go get a player that makes sense for them at 22 who has value.
Mm-hmm.
The other side of me thinks is he moves that pick and packages someone to move up to top 10. That's my belief. I think that might be something you might realistically you could see that happen tomorrow, Ken. I think that is something that you really well can think, okay, this is going to happen. And I think it's a good chance. If Kyle Dubas can, fleece a GM and try to make a like Buffalo did with Chicago, then I'm all for it, man. Go ahead. If you can overvalue a player, then I'd love that. So again, it's kind of just we wait and see kind of where it is, but I'd say 50-50.
Do you see a player on the board? And I know there's a lot, like you said, there's a lot of skill in this draft, and it's a pretty deep draft as well. But do you see somebody who fits what the Penguins would be looking for, who fits a Kyle Dubas, Wes Clark type first round draft pick, worthy of vesting a lot of draft capital to move up and go get? Do you see somebody with that?
Oh, 100%. I see one guy that I'm hopefully going to get some heavy praise for if once I post this later. But Viggo Bjork, 100%. He is the most underrated player of this NHL draft. I don't know where he's going to go. He may go top 5, or he might slide to the top 10, depending on where teams value other players, like the Albert Schmitz, the Carson Karls, and the Keaton Verhoffs. There's guys like that you more likely will go top 5, but Viggo Bjork could slide into the top 5 and someone takes that early chance on him. So again, he's gonna be there. He's already had such experience in the SHL, the pro level, and at the World Championships, he pretty much showed off with Ivan Stenberg that he's good enough to go top 5. So for me, it's going to be a bit interesting to see who takes a chance on him, but I think Pittsburgh would have the perfect fit for him. He's a centerman. He'll slide right into the lineup, and you'll add to that center depth without having to go spend premium assets for an over the top or over age, like too old centerman. It allows them to have a center of the future and allows them to kind of flip in between both of what they're looking for, and it fits Kyle Dubas' dilemma perfectly. Like he'll solve so many problems with that. So that for me, that's the one guy I like. If you're trading up, you go for him, and it's been made known that they love his game. You know, they've taken him out to dinner before at the combine. So for me, there's clearly mutual interest. Bjork talked about how he met with Pittsburgh a lot throughout the combine and how they had some conversations. So for me, I think it's too good to pass up on, and I think you got to take a look at him. Obviously, there's a couple of other players if you want to move in the top five. Obviously, again, like I said, the Carson Karls, the Malholtras, the Verhoffs. So again, there's so many names out there. But if I'm thinking about someone that's more a fit, I think Bjork would be the guy to go after.
Do you think with Bjork's size, do you think it translates?
Yeah, obviously, I think in comparison, like I just want to, it's kind of a crude one, but it kind of does show, like a Logan Stankoven, for example. I mean, look how tiny the guy is. He was a machine in the playoffs, and he's part of Carolina's success as to why they won the Stanley Cup. So I think at this point, his 5'11" doesn't matter to anybody in the draft. Someone's going to be antsy to draft him. I'm not worried one bit about his size or his height. I think it's more just he needs to be lean and sized up, ready to go. I think he'll be just fine, Ken.
And something I love about him specifically is his first few steps, like just
Mm-hmm.
absolutely explosive, right? Like
Big time.
yeah, he's, if anybody gets an opportunity out there, I know there's a lot of draft analysis floating around, but check out Jesse Marshall's.
Mm-hmm.
He could find his at Face Off Factor on Substack, but he does a fantastic job every year. This is his 19th year in a row. But Jesse had a lot of good things to say. He actually has Vigo Bjork ranked at 6th overall
Yeah, that's about
in the
right.
draft. Yeah, and that's that's where I felt like he kind of fell as well. Um, and man, if we move up, what do you think we would have to move up to grab someone like that?
In terms of giving up something, well, you're definitely going to package one of Brian Rust or Carter Kelly. It's got to get moved. I think you're going to have to pack a young prospect. You could be seeing a Billy Koivunen or an Owen Pickering possibly, and some draft premium probably going, pick 22, maybe a second, one of the seconds we have, maybe another first next year. It could be very possible. Just based off of kind of what the package was for, again, 4th overall, you kind of get the sense of, okay, Bowen Byram's kind of like a guy that like you kind of it's kind of weird to compare a guy like that, but if that's the case and how Chicago valued a guy like that, then you kind of have to look at the market and be like, okay, you got to have a Bo Byram comparison to move up to that, plus a little bit of extra sauce. Again, I think that's kind of where the market is at right now, and I mean, if it's plausible, then you have to do it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts.
The It's funny because I like to always look at Tankathon, right? Like they
Yeah, no,
do.
same.
They like to capture a lot of different mocks and kind of add them together, and they do a really good job of keeping track of everything as well, and people moving up and down. And they actually have Vigo at 4 overall.
Yeah,
So
and that's just it, right? Again, like I said, he's so good. He's either gonna go in the top 5 or he'll slide out of the top 5 into the top 10. Again, I
yep.
don't know what's gonna happen. That's the problem. I actually, kind of my draft story here.
And
I pulled it back
let
up
me
to.
let me just say something really quick, and it's funny because
Yeah.
Pierre Lebrun just posted that most teams don't think Buffalo will be drafting at number 4,
Oh, it
since
doesn't
Buffalo
shock
has the
me.
4th overall. Yeah, so
No, it
something
doesn't.
like that, right? It's in this world, it's going to cost a lot, but it
But
could
it's
be
a
the
big but.
Penguins.
Yeah,
Will
you
it?
never know.
I don't know, right? I don't know. I wouldn't bet my house on it,
Oh, definitely
but
not.
it's going to be a fun day tomorrow to see, who falls who or
Who
who
falls who?
drafts.
Who panics and decides, okay, we have to do this? Who's gonna
Yep.
overpay? I'm really
Yep.
excited to see who overpays, and again, like Bjork, I said basically wrote intense. He's already played at the pro level. He's playing with grown men, literally. Like he's already had a simulation what it's like to play in the NHL, and I believe that he is a game changer that literally like can change a franchise. Like he is that good. I'm not saying he's Gavin McKenna levels good, but he's close to it, and his playmaking ability, his the way he can dangle around players, and he's so mobile at 5'11" that he's a guy he's hard to pass up on. So if Buffalo is not going to hold on to that, go with Buffalo. Go call up Jarmo Kekalainen, who's been cooking up recently, and you'd be like, what's it going to take? Talk to me here. Just, from Kyle Dubas, you do your due diligence.
Who else? Maybe not as high as Bjork, but someone else that's kind of on your radar that, if we're not able to get into, let's say, top 5, but let's say top 15, someone that you would really like to see, or even if you have a couple, who stands out to you?
Well, first off, I think Nikita Klepov is definitely a guy that stands out to me. He's gonna go probably within the mid-teens, I believe. And he's a guy that's like, he had 97 points last year in the OHL. The OHL is a decent junior hockey league, and a lot of good guys come out of the OHL. I know he's a really good one. I know, obviously Ryan Lynn. The Penguins have been connected to Ryan Lynn quite a bit, and I fully believe he'll be within the top 15. And it's clearly they have mutual interest. It was reported today that they took him out to dinner as well at the combine, and they have interest in drafting him. So I think maybe Wyatt Cullen as well. You bring the kiddo back here. He's been here twice, been around the celebrations, and he knows the culture. So you never know. So I think those 3 guys would be really nice. And also Ethan Belch, I think, is also a good player as well. So again, I'd say those are like 4 guys I'd take a look at.
That's awesome names there. I mean, I think I've had my name for some reason. I've just been Nikita Klepov. I don't know why, but that, I mean, 67 games, 97 points with Saginaw. I mean, where's he heading? Michigan State, right? Yeah, he's heading to Michigan State.
You're talking about Klepov?
Yes.
Yes, yeah, he's going to Michigan State. So he just recently committed there. So it's nice to see. Obviously, if you were to draft him, he's going to be going to play some American hockey, which is good. And kind of get a little bit of a feel of it. Like some of these top prospects are starting to do.
So check out this for Michigan State, right? In the amount of people they have going to Michigan State just from this draft, right? Chase Reed. Ethan, how do you say that last name? Belch.
It's Belch.
Nikita Klepov, Tommy Blyle, and Brooks Rogowski, Jack Hextall are all heading to Michigan State next year.
So I'm curious to see how they play out, but there's more guys going there in the first round. There's some guys in the first round that also committed to Michigan State, and like Jack Hextall, Brooks Rogowski did as well. So by memories. Again, I'm curious to see. I'm obviously JP Hurlburt is a guy that at 22 the Pens might draft, but Tommy Blale, shout out to Matt Meager, if you know Matt very well.
Matt, yep.
He's a big truther on Tommy Blale. I am too. I think he's great. I think he just run a bunch of rookie honors in the queue, and I'm very familiar with his game. Did some scouting on him and just kind of how he plays, and I was very impressed with how he plays. So if I'll steal your next question. If they pick at 22, a guy like Tommy Blale would be on my radar, if not JP Hurlburt. I think those 2 guys kind of make sense for where they are at, and Xavier Villeneuve. So I'd probably go with those 3 guys. In terms of what they've been ranked at and mocked, I think Ilya Morozov, you want to take a far pass from that guy. Don't go anywhere near him. He doesn't fit. I base him in the first round just because he's tall. I think that's the reason he's there. So I'd stay far away from him. But those 3 guys that come to mind, if you're at 22, you pick those guys all day long. There are going to be some good players down the road.
So on a lot of the what I'm seeing is, I've seen JP Hurlburt, his name falling down to the Pens quite a bit, but Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, Boston, I've seen those 3 kind of just shifted, right? Like those 3 selections, kind of switch between Tommy Blyle, Herbert, and Villeneuve. So I agree. I think if we're picking at 22, and Wes Clark, right? I mean, there could
Oh
be
yeah,
someone that's not even on this list that they're like, we're going to get him.
yeah, 100%.
It really could be, and they do not look at these draft um, prospects or anything like that the way we do.
Hmm.
They have their own, and they see things that we don't see. Uh, so there could be names out there
Well,
that we're not even thinking of right now.
there's two names that come to mind if they go off the board and they take a guy that's like peak second round in the first round, like a Yegor Shilov. Shout out to Jeff's Penguins, the big Yegor Shilov truther out there. So I know
Yeah.
he's high on him. He could go into the first round and Penguins could be like, oh, we have to have him, or an Adam Valentini, or there's so many guys out there, and there's so many underrated players that are peak second round or slided out of the first round that like they may go after. You never know. Like it's so unpredictable. So I'm just curious to see what they do with it, and so
Yeah,
you never know.
and Jesse Marshall's yearly rankings. Sorry,
Mhm.
he has Igor Shilov rated 30, so still within that first round, right?
Yeah,
But just a bit lower. Center out of where's he out of
Moncton,
the queue,
Moncton
right? Yep.
Wildcats. Yeah,
So yeah, that's a good call out there. How weird would it be to have two Shilovs?
it would, and Yegor.
That's crazy.
That'd
That
be a
is
bit
crazy.
weird. It would be a bit weird. I can't lie. He's a
That's
2008 as
wild.
well, so there's some young lads in this NHL draft. We're up to 2008 now in birth year. So.
So I did and just real quick because I know you have it in front of you as well, but I did a quick analysis to, I know looking at all of these mock drafts and things,
Hmm.
we all become obsessed with them. So what I did was I wanted to pull an analysis of kind of the final pre-draft updates, right? And kind of like take a look at who's picking who, and who are the names that are out there mocked to the Penguins, and take like a count of okay, who's like the top name that's being chosen, and really work down the list from there. So what I
Hmm.
did was I took 57 pre-draft mocks and analyzed them. And what I found out was and this could be any mock draft out there, right? And it's by people that are writing and reporters, journalists, right, that are out there writing, not just someone that just wanted to do a mock draft on Twitter or something. But so what I found was there's a few names that are the consensus, right? So, yes, we've talked about a few of them. Ryan Lynn's on there, Morozov's on there, but coming in at third overall, not overall in the draft, but third overall on this list, with 14% of those choosing him to go to the Penguins is
Hmm.
Wyatt Collin.
Hmm.
So
Yep.
even though he may be gone before 22, right? This is if the Pens, pick at 22. 14% of mock drafts that we analyzed, they have Wyatt Collin going to the Penguins.
Well, I
At
mean,
8,
how crazy would that be? Just to point out how crazy would that be? It's surreal in my opinion.
yeah, it would be. 18% of the mock drafts out there have them taking a right-handed defenseman, Tommy Blau,
Hmm.
and 19% of the mock drafts have them taking a left-handed defenseman, Xavier Villanueva. So, then after that, 14% Nikita Klepov, 11% JP Herbert. I know I'm saying that wrong. 7% Morozov, Ryan Lynn at 5%, Matthias Preston at
Mm.
4%, which is a new name that popped in.
Yeah, I like that name a
I
lot.
And then let's see, There's a few. Adam, not Novanot. How do you say that last name? No,
I think it's
Novotny.
not
Nov.
Vinny. Yeah, it's a
I can
tongue
never
twister.
say it. It
Jesus,
is. It is.
man.
Um, I see Igor Shilov on there, 2%. So
Mhm.
like one mock draft out there. Malty Gustafson. I've seen someone, I'm not going to call him out on here, but I've seen someone pick them, and that would be a huge pick
That would
actually.
be a huge pick. He's a
Yeah.
big time name. That's a steal, if anything, at that time.
And then I have one taking Jack Hextall.
Jack Hextall, yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot of mocks out there,
Oh, for sure.
and it's 27 mocks have them taking a defenseman.
And
And
clap off for Villeneuve.
any of them, just a defenseman
Yeah.
overall,
Mm-hmm.
right?
That
And
makes sense. It's a
so,
blaring need. It's a blaring need within the organization, so I wouldn't be shocked if they went defense in this draft.
yep. 44 mocks have them choosing someone from the CHL.
Yep. Yeah. The CHL is so common right now. Obviously, all those players are switching, however, from the CHL, and most of them are, with the new rules, are going to commit to big universities and colleges in the States and going to play some big time hockey there. So I think you'll find most of the guys that get drafted from the CHL this year are already committed to a team in the NCAA that are going to go play some US hockey next year.
Right. Yep. Exactly. So, out of 57 mocks that we looked at, Scott, 18 unique names, right? So there's a lot of names being bounced around out there. Will it be one of those? Who knows?
You never know.
There's only two people that probably know that, and that's Kyle Dubas and Wes Clark.
Wes Clark, yeah.
But yep, and but I think that like you had mentioned earlier, Pittsburgh is reportedly locked in on connected. I won't say locked in, but really really connected to Ryan Lynn.
Mhm.
And I've also seen Morozov out there. I know you don't like it, but
Yeah,
I've
a lot of
I've
people
seen
don't,
some
in
more.
my opinion.
Yeah. But if both are gone by 22, then we may see a trade as well. So I trade back even too.
Yeah, honestly, a trade back wouldn't hurt at all because there's still some decent names at the 20 to 30, or the 20, like the 25 to 30. I think even then there's some, the Ruck brothers will be there, and Igor Shilov might even be there. So again, there's still some solid names there. I wouldn't complain one bit.
Yeah, and I want to make sure that I'm clear there. I'm not saying that that I support Ila Morozov. I'm a bigger
Yeah,
fan of Ryan Lynn than
yeah, Lynn's a
Morozov
good
by
player.
all means. And I'm not saying that that's who I would either one of those. That's who I would pick. But I know there's some information floating around out there
Yeah,
that they may trade down if one of those two are not there.
that's fine. I think if anything, if they trade down at that point, you may see them just trade the pick entirely.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I think they just trade out of the first round and go get a player. I think that's probably the more likely case. I don't think Kyle Dubas is content with trading down, seeing as he wants to trade up. So
Yeah, I
so
really
many
think
so
that
many possibilities. There's so many
there is. I think
possibilities.
there's going to be some movement. I really do. I think that there's going to be some movement. I foresee the Pens moving up more than anything.
Yeah, agreed.
I think that there's some players that they definitely have their eye on. And I think some of these names that are at the bottom of this list, I think they're going to go sooner than we expect.
Then like the
You know,
30s, yeah, agreed. I agree
yep.
completely.
Yeah, like even even like a name like Ryan Lynn, right? I see him going towards the top,
You go
right?
mid-teens. You go mid-teens, yeah, for
Absolutely.
sure.
Yep. Um, Wyatt Cullen, I know he's good. I know he's a real good player. Do I think the Pens pick him? No. I'm going against the grain there. I just don't see them taking him.
I don't
Um,
either.
I know that his dad is a big part of the organization, or it was a big part of the cup and everything. But something about his style of play. Maybe it's his attitude as well.
Yep, no, it totally could be.
I don't see the Pens trading up to get him.
No, yeah, it
But
wouldn't be for a guy like
I
that.
think is there anyone else like right? Anybody else
Um,
like late that that you would like, maybe even into the second round?
Into the second round? Oh boy. Well, I mean, there's tons of names you could talk about there.
So I'll do
There's
this
a
one. How about this? There's two that they have us taking in the second round. So,
mhm.
of course, the first one I can't even pronounce his last name. Nikita Shlerbakov,
Okay.
and that one's at 39. That is two picks after they have Igor Shilov going, um, and then Adam Nemec at 54.
Adam Nemec, yeah. I don't know if that's the brother of Simone Nemec or not. I have to do some deep diving into that, but that may be the brother of Calgary defenseman Simone Nemec. And yes, Calgary. That sounds a little weird, seeing as he was a Devil for a bit.
Yeah, that's wild. Yeah, I don't have that here right in front of me. He's Slovakian.
Yeah, yeah. So
Uh,
more than likely, he actually may be the brother of Simone Nemec because Nemec is Slovakian.
yeah.
So he more likely is
I
Simone's brother. So that would be curious.
actually I'll look that up right now. So we have that.
So we have that for the notes, ladies and gentlemen. It must be confirmed. I'll say if we piqued each other's interest. So if you guys don't know enough here in this podcast, we got to make sure we know what we're talking about here.
Yeah, so Adam Nemec, older brother is Simone
Simone,
Nemec.
yep, I knew it.
Simone was the number 2 overall pick in 2022. So yeah, that's anybody who else do you have, Scott? I know you have a full list over
Um,
there. Talk me through
yeah.
it.
So I have Thomas Vandenberg. A little bit biased since I got to watch him here in Ottawa this year with the 67s. He is a projected second round pick. I'd like to see them take a flyer on him, or at least take a look at his game. I liked what I saw from him. He has so much raw skill and potential that just needs to be harnessed a little bit more. Um, I wouldn't say it's a long term project for him. It's kind of a give him more time. He's still very young in terms of his where he is, and his that was just his rookie year in the OHL, like his first year of like junior hockey, and he had close to 30 goals. So, in your draft year like that, there's so much raw potential in his game that I saw. I think his skating needs a little bit more work, but he has a lot of talent, and I think that just needs to be given a chance. So I'd like to see that happen. Again, I'm a big Shiloh guy, but except for that, there's not many names for me that move the needle in terms of a second round pick. Obviously, like Valentini's a really good guy. I like that Vandenberg's supposed to go 53rd right before Nemec. So if Vandenberg's available, I'd like to see him. He also just committed to where did he commit? To Providence. So that would be nice. And except for that, like I'm looking at the names here, and there's a couple of guys that I still need to take a look at. But I'd like to see guys like them take a look at the Shiloh, the Valentinis, the Vandenbergs. Nemec would be a good one. I did some research into him. So it's curious to see just where it goes with that. And also, Gudmundsson is also a good one as well. I did some research into him. He's supposed to go 59. So I think those are some names I'd like to see. So again, it's kind of a wait and see type scenario, but those are some guys for sure.
I love it. I love it, Scott. I mean, it's going to be a fun year. I think it's going to be a fun day tomorrow.
For sure.
And even though the Pens are not stacked with late round picks, with second, third, and then a sixth, or 2 seconds, a third, and a sixth. I mean, I would even think that the Pens move up and maybe even add another second or another third in there as well.
Yeah, very well possible.
I could
Could be a
see
Tommy
that.
Novak.
I could.
Novak or Brazo gets moved. You never know. For some drop capital, it's very well the case, to be honest. If anything, you might see within the weekend here, Brazo get flipped for picks,
It could happen.
just because
Yeah,
it could happen.
it
Just because
definitely
he
could
doesn't really
happen.
have a spot. He doesn't have a spot anymore, and if you can get some capital for him, why the hell not? So I have a feeling if anyone's gonna get moved, yeah, I see Brazo getting moved this weekend.
Yeah, if he would have continued his streak last year, if he would have continued, maybe not a
Being
streak,
consistent.
that's wrong. Yeah, if he would have been a little bit more consistent and didn't fall off at the end of the year, I mean, keep in mind he
Hmm.
didn't even dress a few games into the playoffs, right? So
Yeah.
he definitely did not have a spot, even with Mantha leaving. Um, I still don't see where he comes in, but I mean, if he's here, I don't mind that at all. Big body. I think he one thing I did like was the way that he bounced back at practice. Was the first one on, last one off. Right?
Exactly.
He took that personal when he didn't have his spot anymore. So
Hmm.
but we'll see. Any notable Pens sign anywhere yet?
In terms of,
Any free agents that were Penguins that signed anywhere?
I'm trying to think right now.
I don't think so. I haven't seen
I
any
don't
yet.
think so. I haven't seen any yet. I don't think so. I know like there's some like former Pens that like are going to be available, like the Teddy Blugers, the Jamie Alexiaks. I know they're going to be available on the market. Evan Rodriguez could be moved this summer. We may see him go somewhere. So
Yeah.
there's a couple guys that used to play for the team that will probably be on the move somewhere else. They did have Teddy Blue interest in Teddy at the trade deadline, so maybe a reunion there. As much as I don't think it makes sense, we don't really need a Teddy. I mean, you may see it. There was interest, so I mean, maybe keep an eye on that. Maybe I'm like foreshadowing a little bit right now, but you never know.
Yeah. Man, that's a name. It's funny. I have this mindset of like, let's just move forward, right? Like,
Yeah,
let's just build and move
I agree.
forward. Like
That's
some of these names coming back, I'm like, man, like let's just move forward.
Yeah, obviously, we're going to see guys like Kevin Hayes, Anthony Mantha, Stu Skinner. They're going to be on the move, so curious to see where they land as well. I have a feeling Stu Skinner is going to probably go back to Edmonton.
You
I'll
think
just call that
so?
right now. Yeah, I think. Well, first off, they're going to be trading Connor Ingram's rights. They clearly don't want him back, so I have a feeling you may see Tristan Jarry and Stu Skinner tandem next year in Edmonton.
True. That would be wild. Do you
Well,
think
the stories that would come from that would be a little wild.
yeah, see, I don't man, I would struggle to think that Stu would want to go back to that environment.
I mean, if they're willing to pay him the money he wants, I mean, it would be kind of hard to pass up, right? He's in Edmonton; it's his hometown. If he has a chance to go back, why wouldn't he? If you think about
Yeah.
it. Now, obviously, there was rumors that Ottawa was interested in him, but the fact that Ottawa isn't interested in Connor Ingram makes me think, yeah, they don't want anything of Stu Skinner, especially with Linus Allmark. So, again, Stu will get overpaid. Mantha's going to get overpaid. Hayes will just go somewhere for like a vet min, probably, just to be a locker room guy. Obviously, if we're talking about Penguins on the move. There's rumors flying out there they're trying to move Sammy Gerard. They're gonna look to see if they can dump his salary. And I'm trying to think, is there anybody else? I think that's it. I think there was rumors about Eric Carlson, but those were shut down pretty quickly. So thank God for that because he is the team's best defenseman. So
Yeah, I mean, honestly, unless it's a big name, big name, because I don't see us getting better if we move Carlson,
no, if
right?
anything, you're
Like,
taking like 3 steps back, and that's not
yeah,
where they want to be. And you need to be able to know you have someone to replace him, and they don't have anybody to replace him. So you got to look at it with a two-pronged effort and think, okay, yeah, it's just not, it doesn't make sense.
so this report from Pignota,
Mm.
there are people around the league who genuinely believe that Toronto Maple Leafs have something that's going to be a holy shit type of scenario.
Yeah, I think it would be a Matthew Nyes as well. I don't think it's an Austin Matthews. I think Matthews today had some conversations with new head coach Jim Hiller about his future with the team, and apparently they were good conversations. So I think that's kind of a July 1st type thing if Matthews were to go anywhere. But I think Matthew Nyes would be a guy that may get moved within the next 24 hours, in my opinion. But I am curious to see someone will give up a top 5 pick for him. So I fully believe that.
Man,
Firm.
man.
Montreal was
There,
so close to having him. So if Toronto was willing to pull the trigger on that, I don't see why they wouldn't.
I mean, you mentioned Montreal. I mean, if they add somebody like Nyes or even like another big name, that could
I
be
can consider them a cup
scary.
contender. Yeah, I could
Yeah,
consider
that
them a
could be
contender in
really
the East.
scary. They
Mm-hmm.
are not only just young, but they are. I mean, they're a good team, and
Oh yeah, man.
adding to that team is going to be big. So
There's so much hype around the Canadians right now and where they're gonna go. They're getting younger. Gallagher, Line will be off the team by July 1st. So there's a lot of question marks on where they're gonna go. But yeah, they're a team that's on the rise, and they did the rebuild right. They did it the right way. So I'm
they
glad for
did,
good for
they
them. But I
did.
am curious to see if they can maybe revisit those nice talks.
Yeah, and another shout out too, and I hate this shout out, but I've always liked the narrative that the Washington Capitals are, their rebuild is about a year or two ahead of us, right? Like
Yeah, for sure.
they're definitely ahead of us in that rebuild. But the way that they brought in some big players this year. They've overpaid, sure, I absolutely agree with that.
100%.
But the players they brought in, I think, can impact the team. But they are definitely like ahead of us, but I like their rebuild that they've done as well. Even though
Yeah,
last
for
year,
sure.
obviously, it didn't work out, but they're bringing in some names that may get them some scoring this year.
100%. I mean, bringing in the guys like Tuck and Kyrie are big names. Like, that's no
Yeah,
mistake there. As much as the Kyrie one kind of was a head scratcher for me a little bit, I was kind of like, I don't know about that one, but I won't take anything
and
away. Jordan Kyrie's a legit scorer, so I will
yeah,
not take
and
that
and
away.
I think most importantly is they're making swings to bring in some
Some
vets
impact
that,
guys for sure.
yeah, exactly. So
Well,
that's
it only comes down to two things: either Ovechkin's retiring and they're filling the holes now, or this is an enticement to try to get him to come back for one more season and load up. It's
yeah,
either one of two. So
either or, right? Either or.
Hmm.
So I know we've been recording now for about 52 minutes or so, but I have a vent. Can I
Mhm.
have a vent to end the show?
Of
And I want
course.
to hear your insight as well.
Hmm.
I am a huge proponent of salary cap in all major sports, right? I
Hmm.
feel like the NFL does a really good job. The NHL does a really good job, and it maintains that competitive nature across the league, right?
Correct.
Um, what I am not a fan of is building super teams, right? Like I'm just not a fan
Yeah.
of that at all.
Yeah, I'm
Now,
not
if you
either, to
build
be
it through the
honest.
draft, if you build it through the draft, I like that's a totally different story. Um, but some of these no move clauses, and then all of a sudden someone waives the no move clause, and they can only go to, two teams.
Five teams. Yeah.
Yeah, like when I see
Yeah.
like two, three teams thrown out, and it's the same two, three teams. It's Florida, it's Vegas, it's pick another team. Um, I there should be a minimum like or something of like 10, right? Or like you said, but like narrowing it down to like two teams, it's like come on, man, like this. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Well,
To me, that's a
in
vent. That is a vent. I understand it
that is
on
a good
both
man.
sides,
Oh,
but it's
same.
just
I'm in agreement with you. I think Steve Staley's got asked it pretty well, and in his press conference after trading Brady Kachuk, and I think it's true. It's very common nowadays that player empowerment has become more and more common within the NHL, which is kind of a turn the NBA has been taking for quite a while, where players have more control than the team does. I mean, that's kind of what you get for putting no move clause on players. So I have a feeling the CBA might have to take a look at that and see if they can make a tweak around it so the team is not responsible for getting handcuffed. But also,
well,
again,
and that's
you gotta think about the no trade clauses and kind of revisit them. Okay, do you just hand them out to every player that you signed
right,
to like big
right.
ticket
I
deals?
think that is my point right there. That no trade clauses should be a staple in every single contract, right? Because all that does is it open it up for okay, well, submit me your teams that you're willing to go to. I can understand them for big players, for big names that you're bringing in. Free agency market, of course, they're going to be thrown around. That's a little bit different. Um, but it's just one of those things that I value the players' rights, the players' you know, what am I trying to say here? Empowerment, like you said. I value that. I think that's really important, and I don't want to minimize
Hmm.
that by any means. But I also want to make sure that the teams out there, um, everyone has that kind of ability to, or every team has that ability to make a move, right?
Hmm.
And like, just because you want to go to Vegas, does that mean Pittsburgh's out? Does that mean San Jose's out? Does that mean, Minnesota's out of the talks? Like what does that mean? I don't know. So I just, yeah, some of that.
Yeah. Well, it also kind of signals that a player is basically just choosing where he goes, and it shouldn't be allowed to be that way. You get traded where you get traded, and you
Yeah.
have to accept that.
Yeah, and I think that's on the GMs, right? Like that is
Yep,
100% on
100%.
the GMs to maybe negotiate that a little bit more. I understand. Hey, 15 team, no trade list, cool, right? But if you narrow it down to two, right, and you're not a player that is a truly impact player, right? Like, what are we doing here? What are we
Yeah.
doing? So,
Well, I'll use this guy as an example. Darnell Nurse, he has a 5 team no trade list. He only has 5 teams he's going to go to that he's
mhm.
willing to accept a trade to. If those teams don't want him, well, what the hell do you do then? Again,
What do you
it
do?
kind of doesn't make any sense. Yeah, what do you do? You're kind of both the team and the player are handcuffed. But the player's camp is like, there's not much they can do about it. So it then forces the player to expand their trade list a little bit and be like, okay, I would also go here, here, and here if need be, but like
Yeah,
prioritize these teams.
yeah.
Again, I
Do you
think that's
think?
just it.
Do you
Go
think
ahead.
he's in a Pens jersey? That's a good name to bring up on our show, actually.
Yeah,
Do you
I
think
was.
he's in a
Well,
Pens
it
jersey?
came to mind when we talked about trades, and I forgot to bring them up. But I mean, it's a real possibility. I'll be honest with you. We could see Donald Nurse in the next couple of days actually be acquired by the team. And the fact that I've been reading that it sounds like it actually won't even be a cap dump; it would be a hockey trade is not good. I stay far away from that. Steer far away from that. He's not a guy you want on your hockey team. As much as he is serviceable, they don't need that. They're not in the market for that. So. In my opinion, stay far away. The Flyers are interested. Let the Flyers go overpay for him. So,
Do
but for
you, I
me,
mean, is he someone that could, um, backfill, some minutes from Letang or Shea? I mean, like, I
uh,
don't see Shea coming back, even though I wanted Ryan Shea back.
yeah, of course.
I don't see him
He
coming
wants too
back.
much money. First off, he wants
Hmm.
term and money, and they don't want to give him that. So
Yeah.
he's gonna go catch a bag somewhere else. Good for him. He deserves it. But I don't know. I mean, Letang's now a third pairing guy at best, and so is Nurse, and they don't need a $9 million third pairing guy. They have a Jake Livinash for that. They just got him, so yeah,
I'm
you might
excited
want to
about him.
you might want to just use the kid instead of acquiring a on the wrong side of 30 Darnell Nurse. And just my opinion. It's the truth. It's a hot take. Can't say any more about it.
I don't disagree at all. Scott, I know you've had a few articles that you've sent out there. If anyone has
Yeah.
not followed Scott, please do. He has a new handle because of some things that we won't talk about on this episode. Yeah, but he had to create a new handle. It's at Scott SCOTT underscore PGH DSEN. What have you what was your last article that you have out there? Tell us about it.
Was actually in the Lapierre trade today. I was able to jump on that pretty quickly and get some details out there just to anybody that kind of wants a quick read on what Lapierre is all about. I also wrote on the possibility of Darnell Nurse, Dylan Larkin, if Dylan Larkin somehow were to expand his trade list. I also talked about some RFAs that I think would make sense for the Penguins. Now, unfortunately, one of them I wrote about is off the board, which is Sam Miskevich. I'm kind of mad about that. I thought he would have been a great fit here. And I also wrote about some ownership stuff. If you're at all interested about reading into the ownership stuff, I wrote about Ronnie Francis rejoining the organization, and also just some projected contracts for pending RFAs and UFAs for the Pens this offseason.
Awesome. Well done there. And I know the Hoffman family group did meet with the press today.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, I was not able to make it down
I
there
was about to say, did you end up
for
making it
that.
today?
No, I did not. Unfortunately, had some other commitments I had to be at, and they announced it last night. And unfortunately, I couldn't move things around. But I know that they were down making their initial statement today, and and they seem like
Good
I've seen
people.
some good, so yeah, some good comments coming out of there. They've committed to winning, whatever it takes. They've committed to the resources, the autonomy, and just want the people to be in the right place to win. And
And
then they also said we're
yeah,
going to give Kyle whatever he needs to bring the Stanley Cup back to Pittsburgh. So they said all the right things, and I mean they've had they've had an AHL team, on their books. I think it was an AHL team, right? Uh,
yeah, ECHL.
Yeah, ECHL.
with the Florida
They
Everblades there, which, funny
yeah,
enough, may be the new Penguins ECHL affiliate, with
right. I
Wheeling
was
kind of out the door. So good to
that
bring that up.
I yeah, fix correct me actually because I said Wilkes
Yeah,
earlier. I meant Wheeling, not Wilkes. Wilkes isn't going anywhere, but Wheeling may not be. I think their contract's up, right? So
yeah, it's an expired contract, so it kind of makes sense. Yeah, well, the Florida Everblades don't have also an NHL affiliate team, so look, I mean, perfect pairing. Both teams need an ECHL affiliate, so there you go, and it solves a problem.
yeah,
And the
it
team the
might
team will
be.
inherit four-time ECHL champs. So
There we go. There we go. Awesome. Well, I'm really happy we jumped on. We talked about the draft.
we're back.
If
Yep.
yeah, absolutely. We never win anywhere.
Oh
Life
yeah.
life catches up. Congratulations to you, Scott, on your recent graduation from
Thank you.
preschool. I know you got an award for graduating from preschool, and I know you hung it on the refrigerator, but
Oh
well
yeah.
done. I'm just kidding.
Thank
You
you, brother.
graduated from university. Uh, very well done. And if there's anything that pops off in the next 24 hours prior to the draft, we'll jump on, do an emergency podcast. Otherwise, we will be talking after the draft.
Exactly.
So if there's nothing else, we really appreciate you joining Penn's Weekly Update. Again, go to Pittsburgh's DSEN YouTube, subscribe. You can go back and watch all of our other shows or check us out on Apple Podcast or Spotify. Thank you, and we'll talk to you after the NHL Draft.